being completely honest with you, smaller cars, no matter how much I love them, can make you feel, well, a little bit cramped. Yes, they're definitely more affordable. But see, nowadays, space comes at a premium. I mean, look at the prices of real estate alone. Good grief! Chery is out here trying to prove a point, much like myself, that good things do come in little packages. This is the Tiggo 2. Now we start with the front clip, which looks very different from its larger brothers, the 5X and the 8. Well, save maybe for the 7. So instead of some more rounded corners and the glossy grille, you get an edgy shape on its nose. Up front, you've got halogen projectors with LED park lights and LED DRLs found down below. In other words, it's inoffensive, it's not overly designed, and more important is that it stands on its own. It's got its own thing because it doesn't copy anybody else. Under the hood, you've got a 1.5-liter 4-cylinder and a 4-speed automatic transmission that produces 106 horses and 135 newton-meters of torque. Essentially, you've got just the basics here, which gives you an average fuel economy out on the road. In the city, you get about 7.5. When it clears up, you get 10, and on the highway, 15. So really, like I said, average. Now down on its side, you may think that this crossover actually has small wheels, but to be honest with you, they're not. Those are actually 16s with 55 series tires. What makes it look a little bit on the tiny side is the fact that you're looking at 186 millimeters of ground clearance, with of course disc brakes all around, but you've got a very large gap, and these black claddings above the wheel wells give it that smaller look. Now to finish it off, you've got roof rails up on top, a black roof, you've got repeaters on the side mirror, a nice full little vent here up front, and well, you know, the 5X had an upside-down dinner knife, the 8 had a katana. This time, well, it's more like a toothpick, a tiny little toothpick. Not to be outdone, though, because anybody, and I do mean anybody that has ever watched Rex Navarrete, knows that a toothpick is a dangerous thing. Toom! Now the rear, if I'm being honest, it's actually kind of cute. You've got your rear spoiler with a third brake light, massive rear tail light, and this silver garnish that stretches all the way to the other side with the Chery logo in the middle. It's actually pretty cute. I like it. Now when you open it up, you're looking at 420 liters of space, even more so when you fold the seats. However, it does have a big lip, and I do mean a big lip, to a point where even Vicky Bello or the plastic surgeon of Kylie Jenner would look at that lip and say, hey, that's pretty impressive. There is one more thing that I'd like to add to its cuteness, which is this rear fog lamp. It's nothing grand, it's nothing spectacular, but the fact that the bulb doesn't actually sit horizontally, it sits vertically, it makes it look sort of like a small Chinese lantern. It's really pretty cute. Now in the back, you've got space for 2 small to average sized adults and not much more space for anything else. And really, there aren't much toys back here other than, well, perhaps the Momo tint that comes with the dealer option. You don't have a center armrest, you don't have cup holders, you don't have an air vent or charging points. You do have bottle holders on either door, really, that's it. The one thing I'll give it, though, is that the seats, well, there's no other way to describe it except for being durable. However, the butt side, or where you sit, that's actually pretty soft and nice, and everything else is actually pretty durable. So essentially, it can take a lick and keep on sitting. That wasn't my joke, that was Jack's joke. I won't make a joke like that. That was horrible, really bad. Now the driver's seat is infinitely more interesting, that's a given, of course. But see, the thing is, Chery has kitted this thing with loads of faux carbon fiber and plastics all over the dash, which is acceptable at this price point. I will give it this though, what's surprising is the steering wheel, because it's actually wrapped in pretty nice leather. Also on the steering wheel, you get buttons for your audio and cruise, a funkily shaped gauge cluster with a monochromatic screen in between the 2 dials. You also get uncomplicated air controls, a USB port, 12-volt sockets, an 8-inch touchscreen infotainment system that doubles as your reverse camera, which is a little on the blurry side, and you do also get parking sensors. Oh, and one more thing, for every purchase of the Tiggo until supplies last or until the end of the promo, you get one of these guys, a UV disinfection lamp. Plug it in, and it does the rest. Do please like and subscribe to our channel because we love creating videos just for YOU. Ay, gated pala. There you go. The 2020 Chery Tiggo 2 also comes equipped with dual front airbags, ABS with EBD, electronic stability program, emergency brake assist, brake override system, brake assist system, hill descent control, hill hold control, traction control, emergency signal system, and ISOFIX tether. The steering on the Tiggo 2 is light enough for quick city stints. You don't get that much feedback, and the chassis is, well, you know, it's reasonable. It accepts bumps within reason. It's pretty much up to par and just about level with those in its class and of its countrymen. A downside of the automobile is the engine. The 1.5 liter is carrying 1,215 kilograms of weight, so getting up to speed might take a little bit of time and does take a lot of noise, which you can hear because the NVH isn't all that great also inside the car. There's a lot of vibrations on the ground. But we're not complaining about the 4-speed automatic transmission because in traffic, it's actually quite responsive. It's pretty good in traffic. Now, there are two things that you will need to get used to when you're driving the Tiggo 2. Number one are the brakes. A little bit on the soft side, so you don't necessarily have to stand on the brakes, but it does take a lot of input. And number two, if I'm being honest, unlike other Chinese brands, other Chinese cars out there that have no smell, there is a tiny bit of a smell inside the Tiggo. Now, it's not offensive. It's not a skunk inside the car where you want to stick your head out. No, not that bad. But it is noticeable and will make you understand that this still is very much a Chinese car, which actually is kind of okay, kind of forgivable considering its price point. Price point just may tell you a lot about the car because the Chery Tiggo 2 top of the line is available at 770,000 Philippine pesos. Now, while other manufacturers will give you a small hatchback for that same price, here you get a crossover with some pretty good safety features. Sure, definitely it does need some refinement, but as a city slicker, it just might fit the bill.